Welcome back to CMC News Station. My name is Madison Brown, and here I have with me Cloe Morales and Caleb Clark.
We're doing extensive research on private prisons to inform the people what really goes on behind the walls of the prison.
Stay with us as we take you through extensive examples of just what we mean.
A wide variety of industries take advantage of prison labor. Among many other things, prisoners make clothing, textiles, electronics, furniture, and even solar panels.
Just as we're trying to get China to stop with their prison labor, ours is at the same time increasing.
Hundreds of companies have used prison labor directly or through subcontractors, including Microsoft, Boeing, Starbucks, Victoria's Secret, and others.
They qualify for federal tax breaks. They can get recompensated up to 40% of the wages that they pay to these inmates. We as taxpayers, we have to house, feed, and provide medical care and everything for all of these inmates. We do this as taxpayers. It comes out of the tax pools. And that keeps the actual prison workforce healthy and in shape to go out and perform these jobs for these private companies.
As you just saw in the clip, private prisons are employing their own prisoners to work for 6 times less than what the average minimum wage is.
Today, there are around 2.4 million prisoners in the US and roughly 900,000 of them work. While most of this work is done within the prison itself or for the public sector, some private corporations take advantage of the incredibly cheap or free labor that prisons offer. Corporations like Walmart, Whole Foods, and Victoria's Secret get tax breaks to take advantage of prisoners who work 8 hours a day without union representation and who make between 23 cents to $1.15 per hour. That's over 6 times less than the federal minimum wage. So technically, a prisoner making the McDonald's uniforms earns less than the person wearing it. Now, advocates for prison labor claim that these work programs teach prisoners invaluable work skills and allow them to earn a higher wage than other prison jobs while offsetting the cost of housing for inmates. The fact that a few giant corporations get to save millions of dollars in labor costs by paying inmate workers virtual slave wages, that's just a lucky coincidence.
Millions of dollars spent by private prisons to keep their jails full. RT's Gaynor Chican takes up the story.
In the US, the market for cheap labor is booming behind bars. In the last 15 years, partnership between prisons and private manufacturers has increased significantly. They're becoming America's very own Chinese-style manufacturing line behind prison walls. Prisons, in fact, advertise themselves as such, as an alternative to outsourcing cheap labor to China or elsewhere.
And not only does America have the highest imprisonment rates of any country in the entire world, but it also has the highest rate of youth incarceration. Over 130,000 juveniles are detained in the US every year, and on any given day, there are more than 70,000 youths in detention. But the biggest winners of this mass incarceration haven't been the American public, but the private prison companies who are making giant profits out of people being in jail. According to the American Civil Liberties Union, in 2010, the 2 largest prison companies alone received nearly $3 billion in revenue, while their top executives each received annual compensation packages worth more than $3 million. Private prisons didn't really exist before the early 1980s, when US states and the federal government needed a solution to the overcrowding in public prisons. But between 1990 and 2009, the number of people in private prisons increased by a massive 1,600%. And the business model of these private prison companies essentially depends on locking more and more people up. The biggest of the US's private prison companies is the Corrections Corporation of America, otherwise known as the CCA. In its 2010 annual report to shareholders, the CCA stated, "The demand for our facilities and services could be adversely affected by the relaxation of enforcement efforts, leniency in conviction or parole standards and sentencing practices, or through the decriminalization of certain activities that are currently proscribed by our criminal laws." The CCA seems to be particularly concerned about the decriminalisation of drug use and any potential changes to immigration laws. For instance, any changes with respect to drugs and controlled substances or illegal immigration could affect the number of persons arrested, convicted and sentenced, thereby potentially reducing demand for correctional facilities to house them.
With all the examples shown today, there's many outcomes in the private prison system.
One example is the revolving door of prisoners in and out of the system. It is essentially what drives the private market and means more prisoners equals more tax cuts.
For more information, please visit counterpunch.org. Again, that is COUNTERPUNCH.org. Thank you.